Those are two great questions. I think the first one, I had a seventh grade math teacher who was just really good at knowing how to push each individual person to be their best. Like by the end of the year, I was like, that's pretty amazing. Like he took the time to get to know us and knew what would push us to do better. So I don't know. He just impressed me and I was like, I think that's what I want to do. So that's what I did. And then, oh my gosh, that's a loaded question. So I think I've taught so many students in 24 years that it's impacted them in different ways. I know I've had a few students who have came to me when they were at their lowest points, just needed somebody to listen and help and get them out of their lowest points. And just being a teacher and being that person that they were comfortable coming to, I know that I was able to help them get through those moments, and they're still here today, which is good. And just helping students grow and learn. I had a student reach out to me a couple months ago who graduated 7-8 years ago, asked me to help him with a paper he was writing for the military. I helped him do that, and I guess he got third out of like 250 entries. So even though they're no longer students, like sometimes you still get to see that impact that you had years later, which is pretty cool.
So I come from a background of a lot of teachers, and I think what inspired me to become a teacher was my mom being a teacher and also a couple of really good teachers I had growing up. I got into teaching because I enjoy being a positive influence in young people's lives. So I was a high school teacher. I thought through teaching and also coaching, after school, sporting activities, I thought that I could be a positive role model for them. So in all honesty, that's why I got into teaching. That's what I was passionate about, and that's what I enjoyed about it every day when I was a teacher.
Okay, so my teaching experience, I was a special ed teacher. So within the teaching world, I feel like it's somewhat of a niche. And the reason why I became a teacher is because I had some people close to me that had special needs when I was growing up. So I always had a passion of helping people with special needs. And initially my undergrad actually was in psychology. And then I continued on and got a master's in special ed and had some really great experiences in the education system that supported that route for me. As far as the impact as it had on lives, my students' lives, because they had so many different types of needs, whether that was social, emotional, behavioral, different learning styles, they had a larger impact on me for the most part. But I still have a few students that were in my classroom, and I've been out of the classroom now for 6 years, who I still talk to. So that continued relationship is so important. And like I said, I really think that impact was more on me than I had on them, but I still like to think that it resonated because I still have some relationships with them today.
I wanted to become a teacher because I wanted to impact change. I had teachers when I was younger have a positive influence on my life and a positive change for me, and I wanted to do that for them. Some don't have positive role models in their lives, and so if I could be that person for them, that would fulfill me in a way that I don't know that I would be fulfilled in other things. And my passion, I think, impacted my students again for the better. They saw how much I love them and care for them every single day, and how excited I was to be with them. And so I think they saw someone really invest in them and really want them to succeed, and hopefully then they were confident in themselves.
I think there's not just one moment, but there's many moments why the job of being a teacher is so important. And for a lot of teachers, in the moment when you're doing all of the work, you don't always see that. But especially if you teach middle or high school, well, oftentimes you'll find out later on that you had an impact when those students come back and tell you stories and just say, like, I'm so thankful that you were my teacher. For example, I ran into a kid who was working at a local fast food place, And when I saw him, he goes, "Oh, Miss Smith, I miss you. You were my favorite teacher." "Why was I your favorite teacher?" And he goes, "I don't know, like you always pushed me to do my best and you liked bad kids." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "I was a bad kid, but you made me want to do better. Just like you made me want to be a better person. And now I am. So thanks." So I think it's just those moments later on down the line where you run into kids and they're like, "Oh, thank you." You don't always hear that in the moment in the classroom. So sorry, elementary teachers, you might not hear that as often, but.
So I had a student, I taught high school business. I had a student who, when she started my course, she was afraid to present in front of her class. She was afraid to get up and present in front of a group of people. I remember it took almost the entire quarter, but through multiple practice sessions, presenting in front of her friends, presenting one-on-one in front of me, and also her having the confidence in what she was presenting. It was something that she created on her own. It was a business plan and a product that she had totally come up with herself, so she was passionate about it. I remember her presenting at the end of the quarter to the entire group, and actually even a few outside business people who I had brought in to listen to these presentations. And I remember her telling me after class, like, "Wow, how far have I come since the beginning of this course? I'm so happy that I took this course." Little things like that you don't get all that often, but are super meaningful when you do. That's one that stood out to me for sure.
Yes. In the classroom, we relied heavily on technology. Again, specifically, I worked with students with special needs. And so technology was used every day, whether it was to accommodate their learning styles or for a device for them to use for their voice. We constantly were using it. So in my job right now, supporting technology in the classroom, I know the impact it has on learning and overall supporting the students' needs in the classroom and at home.
I had a lot of light bulb moments in my classroom. I taught third grade, and so that was a very pivotal year for a lot of students, not only in the classroom, but also socially and emotionally. I think just those aha moments that students got every day really drove me to do better and to keep going. And that is just one of my favorite parts of being a teacher.
I can share a story about students that were impacted by, especially by our program that we ran. We have numerous students that are on television today, including in Phoenix. But one of our greatest success stories, I would say, was a student named Jeremiah, who was a go-getter. He was really funny and creative, and we gave him a space to really practice his craft of being creative, to the point that he wanted to do a TV show similar to like the Tonight Show, and we allowed him that opportunity. He's gone on to perform around the country as a comedian on stage, doing improv and doing his routines as well. He works at the Comedy Store there in Southern California. He just had tremendous success, and I know he's thanked us for the time that we gave him and just allowing him a place to grow at such a young age and take chances. So it's great to see him and all that he's accomplished.
I think just being around education and talking about how to learn and showing kids how to learn, that's impacted me. Like I realized that people learn in different ways. So even with my own children, like they're all very different. So the way I approach them is different, even in disciplining them. And just the way I learn, like I realized that I have to do things to learn. I can't listen to somebody else. That's just not the way I learn. So being around like all of these different people who learn in different ways, and then just applying that to my own personal life and the way I do things and the way I interact with other people. Like some people you can interact in a certain way and that doesn't work with another person. And just being around so many students, you learn those things. It just makes communicating and dealing with people in real life so much easier, because you just pick it up. Oh, like that person's going to do better if I directly tell them what I want them to do. This person's going to be better if I like coach them along and get them to do what I want them to do. So I don't know, I think just being around so many people as a teacher, you learn how to deal with people better, and it makes your own personal life a little bit easier too.
I always say I am so glad that I was a teacher first before going into a different career that I'm in now. I feel like if you're passionate at all about helping young people and about teaching, you should definitely start there. It has made me such a better employee. It's made me a better spouse. It's, I'm just a new dad, but hopefully will make me a better parent in the long run. It allowed me to, first off, get extremely organized. When you've got a group of 35 students looking at you, you're supposed to not only teach them, but somewhat entertain them for a period of time. You've got to be extremely organized. And so I think that's helped me in my professional life. And then, the relationships that you build and kind of what you're expected to do, being a role model and a good citizen, I think that's helped me throughout my entire life with my friendships, with, again, like I said, being a spouse, and then also hopefully in my parenting styles as well.
A large takeaway when you're in the classroom is you are working with so many different groups of people, whether that's the students, staff, parents, admin. It really has drilled, and I'm trained as a natural collaborator. And so I think that is probably the most important skill set that I learned from being a teacher, is collaborating with all of my coworkers, employees, and multiple parties in order to make sure that we're offering the best potential solution.
Oh, this is a hard one. I think teaching impacted my personal growth and development to understand that it's not just about me all the time. Although I have to make decisions for myself and it is my life, I learned that I can impact those around me with what I do and what I say, and that it's not just my own world, it's me plus everyone around me, and that my actions and my things that I say, they do impact other people. And so to be as positive and encouraging and respectful as I can be, it does matter, and it does make a difference to those around me.
I don't know. I'm just a driven person. I think just helping other people to learn, that's just something I love to do. So nobody had to motivate me. That's just something I've always had. Like, if I can help somebody else learn something, if I can make a video that's going to help somebody else, then I'm going to make a video that's going to help somebody else. That I don't think I need motivation for that. It just gives me joy.
So like I said, I come from a big family of teachers. Two of my brothers are teachers. I have a sister that's a teacher. My wife is actually a teacher. So I stay in touch with, the different trends that are going on, but also just following up in their lives and how they're doing. Me personally, I've continued coaching since being a teacher. Again, just trying to be a positive role model, get in front of young people, help them any way I can. And so, taking an active role still in the coaching, which allows me to do what I'm passionate about now, which is obviously work for Bluum, but then also fulfill another passion on the side, which is the coaching and the development of young people. That's how I've stayed most connected. I'll also say professionally, I really like to see what we're trying to do for schools here at Bluum every day. I like keeping on top of that and definitely following, the ways that hopefully we're able to help those teachers and help those schools get across to more kids and help more kids in their development.
Staying motivated, how I stay motivated is we know how important education is on our society. So it is extremely important that we continue to support our students, our communities, our teachers, and ensure that we're providing all of the correct materials, resources in order to do that. We are essentially teaching students of the future, and that is what keeps me motivated.
I think education is a lifelong thing. I don't think that once you graduate high school or college, or, finish the schooling that you decide to do, I don't think learning is over. Even in careers that you're not in a school setting or you're not actually doing the teaching, you are always learning. And I think that is the most important thing, is that no matter how old you are or how good at your job you think you are, you're always learning and can always learn from those around you.
So I've stayed motivated and passionate about education because I learned just to value continual education. We have to continue to grow. And the things that we're doing here, the things that I'm doing in my role as a leader, as a coach, to my team, it's all about learning and growing. Products are continually changing, technology continually changes, and it's our job to stay current on all trends. And I love learning, and then I love sharing that with our customers and educating them on the directions that technologies are going and how we might help them. So it's easy to stay passionate and stay connected about education because we're doing it as well.
Just know that you are making a difference, and sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Days are long and days are hard, but you're making a difference, so keep doing it.
I would say that in the moment, it can be difficult, but as you reflect, and even as someone who was a former educator and has now moved on, there are definitely extremely rewarding things that you look back on, and I personally miss, but I think current educators will see as extremely rewarding. So in the moment, the spring days can get long, but you are making a huge difference. And I think you don't get the recognition you deserve. It can sometimes feel like a thankless job, but as long as you're getting that back end satisfaction and those nice moments every once in a while, I think it's definitely worth it to stick with it. I know my wife is probably the most passionate teacher I know, and it's always a roller coaster. There's ups and downs, but seeing her in those good moments, I think definitely makes the long days worth it in the end. So that would be my message: is keep after it. You're making a huge difference, and whether people say it enough or not, I think a lot of people appreciate you and what you do in your profession.
The message I would like to share to educators right now is thank you. You are appreciated. I know there's a lot of work that goes into it every day, and you might not hear it enough, but you are extremely appreciated. Thank you for all of your hard work.
I would like to share that although it might be hard and you might not see immediate results, you are making a difference. And those kids or those young adults, they are so lucky to have you, and they wouldn't be who they are without you. And so I would, again, just reiterate, keep going. They need you, they want to be around you, and you are doing a great job.
My message to the educators is that you are making a difference. You may not see it now, but it will come when you pass a former student at the grocery store. It might come on them reaching out to you via social media to just reconnect with you. But those moments, they do happen. And that's when really the magic happens. Because you've built these relationships, you've done something because they've gone out of their way to reach back to you and acknowledge that. And if you're new to education, you're maybe not there yet, but you'll get there and it'll happen. Maybe it's an invite to a wedding or something like that. But you are making a difference. Just keep grinding, right? Keep doing what you do, what you love to do, and you'll reap the rewards, I promise.